They thought it was just a ghetto hairstyle. But these braids held secrets, maps, and survival plans. While slave owners looked on, black women braided escape routes into their scalps. No pen, no paper, just hair and resistance. Today, we honor the brave woman who wove freedom.
I know you have heard about enslaved back then were being forced to shave their hair. And there's a hidden meaning on this. Because during slavery, many enslavers did force black people to shave or cut their hair. Okay? And this, I will tell you for sure, it was done for control. It was done for dehumanization and erasure of culture identity.
The fact that white girls here can go to school and not have to cut their hair, but black girls have to cut their hair when they're so young. Yeah, like your hair is so much a part of your identity. So for you to cut that off, that's the first thing they did to the slaves when they got on the boat, is they cut their hair. And I'm a psychology major, so I understand what that does to someone mentally. If you want to break them down, you want to strip them from their identity. You want them to feel that they have the sameness. Whereas I don't even think, if I had to cut my hair when I was younger, I don't even think I would be who I am, because through that creativity and like doing different styles with my hair, I feel like I've been able to shape my identity. So I feel like when you strip young Ghanaian girls of that freedom as a young black girl to grow their hair, it's a problem. And it also creates this dimension of like, if you come from a wealthy family, you can go to a school that won't force you to do it. Yes. But the schools that force you to do it. So then you have all this. And I asked the girls in my workshop, I said, so do you think that cutting your hair doesn't let you focus in school? And one girl was like, I don't agree. I just want to switch up my hair. And I don't I think I can still focus on school.
It was not just shaving to be neat or just shaving because they want people to have short hair. No, it was erasing identity or erasing African identity. Because before enslavement, Africans had elaborate hairstyles, cornrows, braids, locks, and patterns that carried deep meaning about their tribe, about their status, about their age, and about spirituality. So when enslaved Africans arrived in America, their captors often shaved their heads as soon as they were captured or sold. And this was stripping off their cultural identity.
From West Africa to the Americas, cornrows were more than tradition. They were messages, roadmaps, blueprints. In Colombia, styles like departes marked the path to escape. Some patterns mimicked the layout of plantations or safe houses. Others warned, this road leads to freedom. And when enslaved people planned to flee, they hid rice, seeds, and gold dust in their braids, enough to start life over after liberation. Even when stripped of everything, land, language, names, they held power in their hands and in their hair. But this history, they never taught it. The textbook said cornrows are just ghetto fashion. They erased the strategy, the brilliance, the survival. No statues honor these architects. No plaques for the women who braided hope into every strand. But the legacy lives on, and that's why we will honor them today. Every tight braid, every sectioned row, a quiet echo of rebellion and brilliance. Cornrows weren't just style. They were resistance, they were maps, they were freedom. Say that out loud. Let's share this to honor these brilliant queens.
They feared our hair. Not just skin, not just our power or strength, but again, they feared our hair. And this video, we are going to speak about the real reason why black people were forced to shave during that time. Okay? Now, before I start my commentary, I want to watch this clip first and then we come back and talk more.
Recall Andrew Johnson, the wrestler from New Jersey who was forced by a racist referee named Alan Maloney to get a haircut in order to compete. In a local powerlifting competition, a black competitor was told she could not compete because of her beads.
With beads and tied in a bun like she'd worn it in previous games, when an umpire told her she had to either remove the beads or sit the game out.
You see,
under scrutiny recently when on social media posts like this showed up. This is Crushers Club's president Sally Hazelgrove cutting a young man's dreads off. They let you have it.
Yeah, but that's kind of like basically saying like you're not gonna bring nobody in with hair like mine. Probably not. That's kind of like, to me, it's a racist comment. Well, Because I'm just supporting my cultural, like, dreadlocks.
Well, it's not meant to be that way. It's not about race. It's about hair.
That's cultural.
No, it's even
Black culture. I'm profiting from black people on black culture, yes. Well, at least you can admit that.
Why is it in this day and age still, African young girls and even young boys have to cut their hair just to go to school? What kind of nonsense is that? Do they not know that this is going back to the colonial period, and yet they're still upholding this? Yet they say, oh, we're independent, we're proud. Are you really proud? I don't think you are. Now, this girl specifically is in Ghana, going to a school called ERASURE Senior Girls School. I think it's a boarding school, maybe. And before she enrolled, she had to cut her hair off. Some of them go bald. I'm like, what's the purpose behind this? It all goes back to the European colonial period. The Europeans noticed the African hairstyles and hairdos were a symbol of status, pride, and identity. And obviously, to strip that, what do? You tell them to cut it off. Missionaries went into these places and tell them, oh, your hair's not good enough. It's unkempt, it's bad, so you have to keep it bald because God wants you bald. Imagine that. Now, Ghana has been independent since 1960. It's the first independent African nation. So they should be way past this. But yes, it's still happening. Why? Heck, in other parts of Africa, they still wear these stupid wigs. Like, what are you doing, bro? But your own hair, you tell your kids, cut that hair. Yeah, put on little wigs. Oh, go bleach your skin. Huh? Are you mad? In pre-colonial Ghana, the Asante had all these diverse hairstyles. Beautiful, diverse, sophisticated, yeah? Now that you're not colonized no more, these should be upheld. Bring these back for weddings, ceremonies. Look at that. That's beautiful. Again, I believe this is in Ghana as well. That is beautiful. Look at that. Yeah? Be proud. Be proud of that hair. That's beautiful. I wish I still had hair, man. This is in Chad, I believe. Beautiful, sophisticated young lady. Now an ancestor. But yeah, you can't tell me, oh, this is bad. You can't go to school like this. Or you can't go to offices like this. Or you can't work like this. Shut up, man. You need to learn to appreciate this beauty, man. It applies for the men as well. Oh my God, we was told, oh, having dreads is bad, having long hair is bad, having braids is bad. I'm like, shut the hell up, bro. It's part of our heritage. It's part of our ancestry. Me, if I still had hair, I'm telling you, I would have braided it like the ancestors. Because I found out recently, my ancestors had their own hairstyles, like long hairstyles in Zimbabwe. I was like, what? I thought they were just bald. Because that's what we were taught, innit? No, it's not. Don't do that, bro. See, there's plenty of examples. I mean, look how beautiful that is. Yeah? I get it, maybe. It's hard to maintain, it's hard to braid, blah, blah, blah. I get it. So they need to focus on their education. But still, cutting their hair is not the answer, okay? Obviously, don't have too sophisticated hairstyles in school. You don't need that. But at the same time, don't cut their hair, yeah? There's other cultures out there. They preserve their hair. Are they struggling in their education? Huh? No, they're not. They're doing well. So shut up, bruv. I'll show you another example. This one is from Madagascar. You're telling me no one can go to school or work looking like this? Miss me with your nonsense and get decolonized in your head. Hopefully this nonsense ends with our generation. I don't want to see no more baldness, okay? I'm bald, okay? So it's not discrimination. Okay, thank you very much.
Stop letting everybody touch your hair. It's the fastest way to get your little fingers popped. You come over here touching my hair if you want to, especially if you didn't ask. Hair is not just hair, it's a spiritual receptor. My antennas carries energy as well as identity. It holds memory, wisdom, and the essence of my lineage. Hair is seen as a sacred extension of the soul. This is why elders used to bliss the hairstyles of the younger generation. Put a lot of love and intention into it. That's why locks, braids, and fros hold deep spiritual significance. They all tell a story. When a person outside of your cultural, spiritual lineage decides to put their claws in your damn head, uninvited, they energetically trespass and they need to be dealt with. This is a subtle, unconscious act of power and possession. This is a way for them to absorb and interact with energy they don't fully understand. In esoteric terms, it's like somebody reaching into your aura without your permission, siphoning your essence. Even worse, leaving their energetic residue on you. Much like water, hair is a spiritual conduit. My lots definitely connect me to a higher consciousness. That's why a lot of spiritual practitioners keep their heads covered. They only allow certain people to touch it. Shout out to Locks by Jeff, because if you ain't Jeff, you're not touching my head. Not only that, unwanted touch is energy vampirism. Make sure y'all remember that. When somebody touching your hair without your permission, they taking something from you. Energy transfers through physical touch and through many other ways, but definitely physical touch. If they operate in ignorance, jealousy, or entitlement, it can be pulling from your crown chakra without even realizing. This wild shit is the same people who demonize our hair are often the ones who extasize, commodify, or police it. I don't care what nobody say, there's a subconscious drive to experience what they can't claim as their own. While I already know I got a scenario for you. Working in corporate America was a trip, especially when I used to be in office. I'm sitting at my desk being a divine beacon of neuromelanated excellence, listening to some good music, getting my work done, and here come Karen with her hovering hand. Like, girl, what is you reaching for? I'm looking at her like, if you touch me, I lean back like the damn Matrix. Like, oh my God, your hair is so amazing. I'm like, oh my God, your boundaries non-existent. Don't get fucked up. He didn't take the hint though. She tried to touch it anyway. I firmly said, hey, what you doing? She got the nerve to jump back like she offended. You trying to touch me? So I ain't no damn artifact in no museum. Back. In my mind, she wasn't just trying to touch my hair. She was trying to feel my energy or siphon it. I work with energy too much to be playing games. She was acting on impulse and subconscious entitlements. That's all that shit is. It's not about being friendly. Don't just touch somebody if they don't want to be touched. Acting like my damn hair is public property. Like I said, she got the nerve to be shocked and offended because how dare I set a boundary? If you don't skedaddle back to your damn desk, people who feel entitled to access your energy will always be offended when you reclaim it. Let me remind y'all of this shit too. I see so many videos of chicks going to salons to get their hair done, and the hairdresser got a nasty ass attitude. First of all, you will never touch my head with no attitude. Hair is a literal spiritual extension of you. It holds your thoughts, energy, and ancestral wisdom. That's why in many cultures, hair is deeply connected to spiritual connection, as well as identity and intuition. When somebody doing your hair, they're not just styling it, they're working in your crown chakra. You know, that's your energy center that connects you to the divine. Literally how you get your download. If the person doing your hair has negative energy, negative intentions, or unresolved chaos, that energy gonna get transferred right to you. Y'all know hands carry a lot of energy. This is why some people's touch feels so warm and inviting, while others feel heavy or unsettling, like, don't fucking touch me. That's energy transference in action. Yeah, don't let them weave that negative energy or intention into your crown. And you wondering why you feeling so anxious, drained, or spiritually cluttered. It's not no coincidence. That's spiritual contamination. So be selective about who doing your hair. Set intentions before somebody touching all up in your head too. If you feel like you coming into a negative space, cover your head up. That's your protection. Most importantly, always trust your intuition. Your hair is more than just an aesthetic. It's a spiritual extension of you, like I said. So protect your crown and protect your spirit. Period. And I don't care who get mad about it. If you enjoy all things deep thought, make sure you come join me at my Puff and Paint here in Atlanta, February 28th and March 1st. I know we're going to have a live DJ, food, everything you love to indulge in. We're going to dance. We're going to have deep thought conversation. We're going to take the time to connect and love on one another. If that sounds like something you want to do, make sure you click the link below or head to the link in my bio for more information. Make sure y'all let me know your thoughts in the comment. Peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching.
No more beardos. Simply put, if you do not meet the male level physical standards for combat positions or don't want to shave and look professional, it's time for a new position.
This is an anti-black policy. A lot of people don't understand this, but this is a major point of contention for active duty service members that are black. The reason why the military allowed some members to not shave and have like hair standards that are a little bit looser is because a lot of black people, when they shave, get not like razor bumps. I forget what it's called. I think it's called like folliculitis or something. I don't know what it's called, but like they get shaving waivers because black hair is different.
So I'm not clean shaven because I do have a condition called pseudometiculitis. It's when your hair grows out and back into your skin, causing your face to turn red and causing there to be bumps. There's usually rash, and this is more common in, African Americans because our hair is more kind of tightly woven hair that is thick and it's not as straight as other people's hair.
And the Marine Corps has like waivers for it. They're called no shave chits, right?
Yeah.
The beard policy thing is not about readiness. Like the reason why they're taking away the waivers is just simply to say like, F you. If you're black and you're in the military, you're going to shave your face no matter what kind of medical complications you get. Of course, spec ops still get to have beards, obviously, because they're cool and mostly white and also badass. They get to grow a badass beard because they're special operations, baby, special forces. Hoorah! Woo!
Right, guys, a school in London this week went on strike because the head teacher said they weren't allowed to wear afros or colourful hijabs. Now, they said that the afro would be blocking views. Now, if you're going to ban afro, which is hair on black people, you'd have to ban curly hair because afro is curly hair. So you can't ban afros and not curly hair, but it's hair on our head. So how can you ban it? But blocking views, that means curly hair blocks views. I mean, come on, guys, what do you think about what happened at this school? And good on the pupils for going on strike because Our hair is our hair and we're made with it, so we can't do anything about it because it's on our head, if you get what I mean. Let me know your thoughts, please.
Grand Rising Kings and Queens, welcome back to my YouTube commentary. Now, I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. I appreciate. And our hair is not just hair. Our hair, it's history. Our hair, it is energy. It is identity. It is divine technology from our ancestors. You need to know that. When you see the coils, the cars, the locks, you must first control what they think about themselves. The locks and crowns on black heads, you are not just looking at style. You are looking at the language. You are looking at a map, a memory of Africa itself. Dr. John Henry Clark once said that to control a people, you must first control what they think about themselves and how they regard their origins. Okay? And that's why they didn't just chain our heads, but they went for our heads. They didn't just chain our hands, but they went for our heads too. Because they knew deep down that the strength of a people lives in their self-image. And for African people, our hair has always been our crown, the physical expression of our spiritual elevation. Okay? And before the ships back then, before chains and everything that happened, Africans wore hair like royalty wears gold. Every twist, every braid, every lock told a story. Okay? It was how we said who we are, where we came from, and where we belong. So, like for example, in Yoruba Kingdom, hairstyle spoke of spiritual rank and family honor. In Ghana, intricate cornrows marked tribal identity and lineage. In Sudan and Ethiopia, man and women, or men and women, sculpted hair as art forms, expression of creativity, discipline, and divine connection. So hair was not just a fashion. Hair was a communication, and they feared that. Because Europeans didn't just understand it, like they saw hair that defined gravity, hair that reached towards the heavens, and instead of reverence, they felt insecurity. Our coils represented freedom. Our texture represented nature's perfection, and the crowns represented sovereignty. So when they captured black people, they knew that the first thing to destroy was the crown. Because once you remove the crown, the king and queen start to doubt their royalty. When the first African man and woman were captured, one of the first humiliations they faced was being shaved bald. Bald. In Swahili we say kipara, upara. They didn't do it for hygiene alone, but they did it to erase identity. The late Dr. Amos Wilson wrote that the most powerful weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. And what better way to attack that mind than to strip away every symbol of dignity? Our ancestors were lined up and shaped like livestock. Centuries of heritage gone just in minutes. Tribal marks hidden, spiritual hairstyles erased, cultural pride reduced to shame. Okay? The head, which once carried oil, which once carried beads, shells, and meaning, were left bare. So it wasn't just a haircut. It was a psychological assault. Imagine being torn from your land, shackled, and then stripped of your identity. Even your reflection no longer looked like you. You know? And that's how you break a people before they ever reach the slave ship. Now, in African cosmology, hair is a channel of spiritual energy. It is the highest point of the body. It is the part that reaches closest to sun, the sky, the ancestors. Okay? Ancient Kemetic priests in Egypt believed that hair carried divine power, that it was the antenna of the soul. Even today, elders say that the spirit of a man resides in his head. So when colonizers and enslavers forced our ancestors to shave, it wasn't just to control, it wasn't just the control appearance. Okay, it was to cut the spiritual cord that tied them to their divinity. Okay, but here's the truth: you can shave a head, yes, but you can't kill a spirit. Okay, and that's why even in the plantations, our people found ways to reimagine beauty. So they wrapped scarves with grace. They used butter, oil, and ash to braid again. They turned oppression into artistic rebellion, because black beauty or true African beauty can never be erased. It only evolves. Now, going deeper, to the slave system, shaving wasn't random. Shaving was part of a larger psychological operation. Okay? By removing the hair, enslavers removed the individuality. Okay? They wanted to make African look alike. They wanted to make Africans act alike and feel stripped of uniqueness. So it made it easier to sell them as property, because property shouldn't have identity. It made them easier to control them, because the less they remembered their greatness, the easier it was to rewrite their identity or their reality. And Malcolm X said this: "Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?" Who taught you to hate yourself? That question still echoes today. Okay? Because after centuries of psychological programming, even after slavery ended, the descendants of those Africans were still taught that their natural hair was ugly, was unkept, was unprofessional. They turned a physical act of slavery into a mental one that lasted for generations. You see? But our people never gave up. Our ancestors never gave up. Even in the fields, hair became a sacred weapon. Enslaved women braided maps of escape routes into each other's hair. Cornrows literally became freedom codes. They used rice seeds hidden in their braids to plant new life when they reached freedom. That's not just resilience. That is a genius. The same hair they tried to destroy became a tool of liberation. They shaped us to humiliate us, but black people turned the act of styling into act of survival. Dr. Maya Angelou once said that you may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I will rise. And that's exactly what our ancestors did. They rose. They rose. Now, allow me to say that they didn't fear the hair itself, but they feared what the hair represented. Okay? They feared the self-love, they feared the confidence, they feared the spirituality, they feared the unapologetic beauty of our people who knew who they were. Okay? Black hair stands for something white supremacy cannot control, and that's identity. It moves on its own terms, it grows on towards the sky. It resists gravity just like black people resist oppression. And that's what scared them. because every time they saw the courts rise, they saw resistance rise with it. Now to the modern world, centuries later, the same system still policies black hair in schools, in offices, even in the military. Okay? From banning afros in classrooms to labeling dreadlocks unprofessional, to fringe women for wearing braids. So the legacy of forced shaving still exists. But right now we are fighting back as black people. The Crown Act in the United States, creating a respectful and open world for natural hair, was born because of this historical trauma. It is more than legislation, it is reclamation. Okay? Black men wearing locks, black women rocking afros, children embracing their natural texture. This is not just fashion, it is revolutionary remembrance. Okay? And because every twist, every curl, every lock is saying to the world that you tried to strip me of the crown, but I wear it again proudly. Okay? And Dr. Francis Cress Welsing once said, the appreciation of our own image is the beginning of liberations. They shaved black people because they feared what they could become if they loved themselves. And now that love is rising again. You can feel it. It's rising again. Now, family, let me say this. The act of forcing Africans to shave was not random. It was a strategic operation of psychological warfare. Okay? Because the colonial systems understood something powerful, that if you can make a people hate what they see in the mirror, then you can make them obey without chains. Okay? So what did they do? They taught us that our beauty was ugliness. They taught us that our natural form was sinful, that our hair was dirty, wild, and unfit for civilized society. Okay? And this was not just done on plantations. It was done through missionary schools. It was done through colonial laws. It was done through Western propaganda. Okay? When black children were told to comb that hair until it lay flat, what was really being said? What was said was that flatten your spirit, straighten your identity, and fit into the image of your oppressor. The French colonizer wrote in a black skin, white masks. The French colonizer Frantz Fanon wrote in black skin, white masks. The black man has two dimensions, one with his fellows, the other with the white man. A feeling of inferiority is born through this double consciousness. So our hair became one of the battleground of that inferiority. Okay? Because it reminded us and reminded them that we were different, and instead of celebrating that differences, the system punished it. Now, religion too played a part on this, because it was weaponized. Okay? Because they even used God as a tool against black hair. When Christianity was retaught to enslaved Africans, it came twisted. It came edited through white supremacy. They taught that cleanliness is next to godliness, but they defined cleanliness by European standards. So the tighter the curl, the farther you are from godliness. The straighter the hair, the closer you appeared pure. But what they never told us is that the Bible itself, hair is often a symbol of divine strength. Remember Samson? His power was in the air, and Delilah cut it, and his power fell. So even in their own scripture, the truth was hiding in plain sight. To cut the hair of a chosen one is to weaken their strength. And that's what's happening to African people. They were cutting our crowns, not just to humiliate, but to disconnect us from the divine identity. Okay? Dr. Joseph Ben said that one of our, he said this, if you can control a man's gods, then you can control that man. So by redefining holiness through whiteness, they convinced millions of Africans that their own features, their hair, skin and lips and nose were ungodly, you know. And that was what I call spiritual colonization. As slavery evolved into colonization or colonialism, the same message continued. Only now it was called education. Missionary schools across Africa forced young boys to shave their heads for discipline. Girls were punished for having natural hair, considered untidy, you know. They were told to look presentable, which means looking less African. Ngugi wa Thiong'o wrote a book in Decolonizing the Mind, explaining how colonial education alienated Africans from their own beauty. Even during the early 1900s, advertisement across Africa and the Caribbean promoted skin lightening creams and the hair straightening products as a modern progress. So the goal was to replace natural pride with artificial aspiration, to make every African desire the features of their colonizer, not their creator. And that's why they didn't just enslave our bodies, they colonized our mirrors. Okay? Let's be analytical for a moment here. Control always operates in two levels: physical domination and mental conditioning. Okay? The forced shaving represents both. Physical or physically, it made surveillance easier. Everyone looked the same and identity was erased. Mentally, it enforced the idea that African beauty had to be managed. So European anthropologists of the 1800s even wrote false scientific papers claiming that African hair was evidence of inferiority. They described our texture as wool instead of hair, and language designed to dehumanize. But here is what they didn't realize. They didn't realize that the same texture they mocked is one of nature's most advanced biological design. Our tightly coiled hair protects the scalp from UV rays, retains moisture, and cools the body in hot climates. So it is not weakness. Our hair, it is evolution perfected for African condition. So why they call it wild? It was actually wisdom woven by nature. Okay? Now, when I reflect on this truth, slavery didn't end the battle, but it only changed the language. I'll say this: in the 20th century, Eurocentric beauty ideas became the new chains. Straight hair meant access or success, relaxers meant professionals, and natural meant rebellions. Okay? Black women risked chemical burns to fit in. Black men were told dreadlocks were gang-related. And the system that once shaved our ancestors now taught their descendants to shave themselves willingly. Dr. Wade Noble said that power is the ability to define someone's reality and make them live according to that definition. So that's exactly what they did. They defined our beauty, they made us chase it, and now awakening is here. The natural hair right now, the natural hair movement is not just a fashion trend. It's a form of psychological emancipation. When a black woman steps into the world with her afro, she's not just expressing style, she is declaring sovereignty. When a black man grows his locks, he is not just rejecting the razors, but he is reclaiming is ancestral identity. Okay? Now, why will something as simple as hair cause so much global debate? Why? Huh? Because it's symbolic power? Why? White supremacy has always feared symbols of African unity. Okay? Whether it's out of music, whether it's our skin, whether it's our language or our hair, symbols carry memory, and memory fuels resistance. In the Caribbean, Rastafarians were beaten and arrested for wearing dreadlocks. Okay? Authorities called them unclean, but the truth is they feared the message those locks represented, and that was spiritual freedom and defiance of Babylon. Okay? Now, the hair industry is a modern colonialist market, because who profit from that insecurity planted during slavery? It is them. It is non-black corporation. Okay? They forced shaving on the past and now transformed into billion-dollar industry of today. So when a black woman chooses to support a black-owned natural hair product, she's not just buying cream. She is buying back the power, and that's economic decolonization. Okay? Now, up to there, I hope we have learned something here, because I want to finish there, because I say this, today a global shift is happening. Black people from America to Africa, Brazil, and all the way are reclaiming their crowns. Natural hair festivals, lock competitions, and Afro parades, and these are not just a vanity, but it is victory. Okay, it is the grandchildren of the enslaved saying that you shaved our ancestors to break them, but we wear our crown to honor them. So Colonial West said this at its best: never forget the justice of what love looks like in public. So when we love our natural selves publicly, we are performing justice for our ancestors physically or privately. And that's a real evolution. Until next episode, peace out.